This pizza has broccoli, no sauce, onions, feta cheese, red peppers, and black olives.
I'm just surprised it took me so long to realize that was not
The only thing I realized was that
like the broccoli didn't even throw me off.
I looked at broccoli. I was like, they put all your toppings on my half, and not even noticing the broccoli. Not. I mean,
It's because I want to give pizza the benefit of the doubt and be like, no, they couldn't have messed it up. I've been ordering there for years. I don't want to believe that they messed up my order for once.
Pizza
And they
is
did.
fantastic. I just regret not getting a fake chicken sandwich now because now I have this pizza that I have to deal
I
with.
like it because I think it's the only pizza place that serves vegan cheese.
Yeah.
So I don't know about any other. Maybe there are other ones around me that are starting to do that, but I just keep going to pizza because they have a plant-based menu.
It's fantastic and it's delicious, and their plant-based chicken sandwich, buffalo chicken sandwich, is unreal. This is the Pixel Perfect podcast. We're starting right now.
Either way, I'm in.
Welcome! We're back! We're fucking back. It's good to be back. I've missed you guys. And Itachi, who's joining us shortly. He said, I'll be there soon. Just need to ask Q, and I'll be there. I want to know who Q is. Welcome to the Pixel Perfect podcast. We are back. It's so good to be back. I forgot what we're talking about, but it's been.
Are we officially back, or is it?
We're officially back because next month we have Tie Fest and we're doing a live episode with all of us in person.
Is this a week or back weekly?
I'd like to, because you made me realize that Thursday nights I'm always here, no matter whether I'm coming to you or back. So that's the goal, if not every other week. But I needed to start a precedent to get us back on the right track. And what better time? We were going to do it next week, but yeah, I decided on this week, and then I told you this morning.
What was our last episode?
Our last episode was Tears of the Kingdom reactions. Well, me and you, so.
Not us.
Oh, we did. It was a video game book club.
Super Mario World?
No, Catherine.
Hmm.
Oh, I screwed up the Super Mario, a Secret Mario that we did. That was really fun. But we all played different Mario games. But yeah,
We had Mario World. I keep forgetting.
We did Mario World. Yeah, everyone did a different Mario game, and it was awesome. And we recorded the episode, and then my editing got all screwed up, and then I never posted it, and then I was like, the podcast is over. It's done. It's forever gone. And then we relaunched it, and we did 3 episodes. I screwed up 2 of them, and then I was like, the podcast is done. It's never coming back. And now we're back for real. I have some ideas.
You lied.
I lied to us. You know what?
You lied to the audience.
I have full intentions to keep this going. And because I missed it, it was so much fun. It's it's largely how I met all of you guys, and I miss being back and talking with you guys about video games every week or every other week, whatever we decide on. I see no friendo in YouTube. I see Beach Pizza Gaming in Twitch. Hello everyone, it's fantastic to be back. What have you guys been up to? We have Russ, Cryo Weasel. How's it going, man? I see you're up in the top left over there.
I'm doing good. It feels weird to be back, honestly.
I know it does.
So long.
Is that chat working on my? Oh well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, this is all Sally. I love your sips.
Sorry,
that's a tall mug. Hold that up again.
There used to be 2. There used to be 2.
Oh, Itachi's here.
Itachi,
welcome to the podcast.
Hi guys.
Let me turn you down. You're loud.
My bad.
No, you're good.
Sorry, guys.
I sound checked everyone else. Nick's Awakening. We
Wow,
are
they're back.
Nick.
Let us know how sound is, how video is. It's been a minute since I've streamed or anything. Sorry, half of you have. Oh, I have streamer mode on. Anyway, Itachi, welcome. But actually, shut up, Itachi. Russ, we were talking to you. How's it going, man?
Wow.
How you been?
No, all right. And I feel like I haven't done much since the last episode. Nothing really exciting.
we all just froze in place for 2 years.
That's really what it felt like.
Yeah. That's kind of when I stopped buying a ton of stuff. No, it's not. But I feels like it. I definitely slowed down. I guess when we do our intros, did you bring a one item to pick up, or one item
I
to
did.
pick up?
I only had like one interesting one, and I got the PlayStation Portal.
Oh yeah.
I bought it. So I bought it thinking that I might use it a couple times, and now I've almost exclusively used it when I play my PlayStation. The only time I've actually used my PlayStation is when I had to use my headset to talk to friends. I guess you have to use a special headset, or
Yeah.
there's a dongle with it.
Oh, you can you can wire. I mean, you can use wired headphones, but it doesn't support Bluetooth. You have to use their they have two different headphones that are both
It's
200
Pulse, I
and
think is what it's called.
200 or 250. That's the only way to do
Mhm.
wireless audio on that thing. It does not support Bluetooth. I remember I got really mad about that because that was
Oh,
dumb.
there's a headphone
They
jack on it.
yeah
They
you
use
can
their
you can,
own
you can
connector.
wire it. Yeah, they blamed the Bluetooth lag for the reason for it, but
Hmm.
I mean the Nintendo Switch, like 5 years after it came out, figured out how to do Bluetooth audio without lag. So I figured Sony could too. I think it was definitely just to add on. What was that noise?
Ghosts.
I don't know.
Is
A
lollipop.
a mystery sound. Itachi, welcome. You
Hi.
yeah,
Hi.
you're back from class. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Thank you for
thanks
inviting me.
thanks for
Appreciate it.
rushing in. I have a cat that's rolling around in a crinkly bag. Sorry. How have you been? How you been the last
Been
few
okay.
years? Yeah?
Been okay. Yeah. Stressful, but I'm finishing up my master's program. I should be done in a month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I have, I have my exam next Saturday, and then I have to finish up my final assignments for other classes. But otherwise, I'm good. Still playing a lot of games. I just beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Nice.
That was great. And I didn't really have anything prepared for the item, but I guess the last cool thing that I picked up is, I guess, right here. It's the Final Fantasy Freddy's the Security Breach Collector's Edition.
Oh,
They
cool.
had it on Woot for like $60, so I just ended up picking it up.
Nice. Awesome. It's good to have you back. Skrill or Wolf, how have you been? What have you been up to?
Mainly just work and yard work, and I learned how
Yard
to
work.
pour concrete recently.
Oh, wow.
And I've been learning about how to trim trees because it's cheaper to figure out that stuff by yourself than like pay someone to do it over here. So that was interesting. Yeah, we found out that the trees that were attached to our lemon tree were not branches of the lemon tree, but actually another tree that was killing the lemon tree. So then we took
Oh.
that tree out, and now the lemon tree looks like it might not make it.
Oh.
So
Have you guys seen the cherry blossom tree in Washington D.C. that they're trying to save?
have not.
Little Stumpy or whatever it's called.
no,
Sorry, that reminded me. I think they're trying to remove it, and there's people trying to save it. Anyway,
that might be just like my lemon tree then.
yeah.
Because I want to save
Start
it.
a
My husband's
petition.
just like, just let it go. Just let it go. It's not gonna make it. And I was like, no, it's gonna make it. I believe.
Did you? I mean, Scroll, you're the queen of pickups. Do you have one that you brought over the last 2 years that you can share?
Oh, over the last 2.
I mean, it does.
I
It
could
can
go
be
on forever.
anything.
No, I'm kidding.
No, yeah.
This was the Uniqlo's Metal Gear collab.
Oh, nice.
This shirt, so it's got Yoji Shinkawa art, and then it's got this little thing on the side.
I just saw that they announced a Tears of the Kingdom collab with Uniqlo
Yeah,
today.
those ones are cool. Their t-shirt quality is really, really high. Like all of my Uniqlo shirts, there's some of the few that like haven't stretched or shrunk or like discolored. Because I wear my t-shirts a lot and I use them to like work out in and stuff. And my husband is like really, really hard on clothes, and all of his Uniqlo stuff, like some of it's stained just because he works with like whale and grease and stuff, but
Oh, yeah.
no rips or tears or anything in them. So, and I usually like their designs.
Nice.
But the tier stuff is definitely cool.
I
I like the
haven't
one
looked. I
of
just haven't
Zelda
seen.
and Link. There's one of Zelda and Link where they're falling and they're like reaching for each
Oh,
other. That one's cool.
nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I knew. I
Sally's like, "Hey Ty, you're buying that."
Add to wish list.
Yeah, exactly. No, she doesn't have to. I just surprise her with it. Good to have you back, Skrill. Thanks for joining us. Sally,
Hi.
hi. What have you been up to the last 2 years?
It hasn't been 2 years.
I mean, since the last, I don't know. We recorded our last episode of this show like over. It was like March. No, it was right or May. It was May of last year. So a year ago. I don't know. But we took a long break. I think it was October of 2022 was the last
Does
Tycast.
anyone still stream anymore?
I'm like kind of coming back to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I saw
oh
that you
yeah.
streaming. I feel like everyone's disappeared off streaming.
When we started this, I felt like I could pop onto Twitch or YouTube and someone that was
Yeah.
on the panel would every single night there would be someone streaming.
Yeah.
And
That must have been an effect of the pandemic,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, that's when I started the YouTube channel. That's when I started the Discord, and then started streaming right, 2020. And but yeah. Okay, so the last year, I mean, last year.
I don't even think I've beaten that many games.
Yeah, you have.
Pikmin 4,
Yeah, that was your most recent.
Tears of the Kingdom. I'm doing Super Mario RPG now.
You're in the middle of the best part. You just did the whole curtain. What's his name? The castle. Brewster's Castle.
It's really cute. I like how that I could just chill out and play it rather than Tears of the Kingdom was more stressful and had to be on my toes with that one.
Yeah, you can just set it down and they'll just wait for you to attack.
Yeah.
I had a blast with Super Mario RPG. I played it as a kid. What?
Oh, the other Wonder, Super Mario
Oh,
Wonder.
Wonder, yeah. Yeah.
It's really
That
good.
was fun.
That
was a great one.
What did you bring something for the class?
I
Show and
did.
tell?
I just made it actually. Look at this.
Hey.
Nice.
What is it called?
Is it
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Lego?
It's not a Lego. It's a knockoff Lego. It's
a
knockoff.
knockoff.
It's a knockoff.
That
It's like
looks so good.
second knockoff, and it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it comes out? No freaking way. That's
Hope
super
it doesn't
cool.
fall apart.
I bought it online somewhere. Was that did I get that for you for Christmas?
I don't know.
All
You
the
always
gifts
just
run
come
together.
and bring me presents.
I thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna show Rivali.
Oh yeah. Well, go to my Instagram to see that one. He's back there somewhere.
Well, it's good.
And you also got me this controller.
Oh, the Pikmin.
So I don't have to get anything anymore because
Yeah, I just buy you. I just buy you everything.
I'm with Tynology now, so he just gets me everything. That was my plan all along.
It doesn't help.
Join the podcast and get with the host.
Start
Start getting all the goodies.
and then then profit.
Yeah.
It doesn't help
Mine.
that Toast messaged me like, "Does Sally have this? Does Sally have this?"
Now,
I don't know what you're.
would
I
they
don't
be
know what he's
considered?
talking about.
Would they be considered pickups anymore? Would they be considered drop-offs?
Ah, yeah, drop offs.
I was like, oh, I got you a gift. I
Oh
left it.
yeah,
I left it in New
toast is
York.
the reason I have Rivali, right?
Wasn't
Yeah,
didn't yeah
probably.
yeah. You messaged. Yeah, I think I told her that you messaged me about Rivali, and I was like, oh, there's
Yes,
a
that's such a good
puppy.
pickup.
It's a dog.
Toast asked me to pick her up.
Well, thanks for joining us, my co-host Sally. We're on the opposite corners right now. Chris,
Yeah.
I spaced on Toaster Dog for some reason. I was just like, I always call you Toast, and then I just blanked.
It's fine.
What,
Tell me whatever you want, but not late for dinner.
what have you been up to, man?
I've just been playing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So we started our A to Z gaming.
Oh yeah.
Cryo and Ultimate Hope got me. They were in a group, and I can't remember if it was Ultimate Hope or Cryo that told me about it. I'm thinking maybe it was Ultimate Hope because I met him.
Oh yeah.
My son is going to college in Illinois, and he was like super close, so we went out to B-dubs and just shot the breeze for like 3 hours. So that was cool. So I think he told me that they were doing this like A to Z thing, trying to beat a game that starts with the letter from A to Z in a year. So we all made a list, and I am stuck on E, but I'm gonna get through it.
Are you going alphabetically?
Right now I am. I kind of feel like I probably shouldn't, just because I have no desire to play Eastward right now, which is weird because I love RPGs. I don't know. I've just been procrastinating by playing other games here and there.
So yeah, so you introduce it, and then now there's a channel in the Discord about the A to Z, and we all like started building our list. I think I am 2 in, and then but I'm slowly playing Burnout 3 again. Like I always played it, but I never beat it. I just would play it randomly. I had it on Xbox. I'm playing it on my Steam Deck now, and I'm still only at like 51%. I beat I forgot what I beat. Both Nintendo games and like Switch games, and I feel like Burnout's gonna take me the entire year, just slowly. That's my go-to is go back to Burnout, try to get because there's some long races where you cannot crash, and there's like 1,000 cars, and it's the Burnout where you can't run into the back of them where you crash. Every other Burnout since you can just like rear end people. I made a joke about that on Twitter. But yeah, I love the A to Z thing. I just wish I don't play enough. I don't play enough games. I started limiting. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do some quick games on here, and even that, I was like, oh, an old Burnout game, that'll be easy. I have like 15 hours into it. I'm only halfway through.
Yeah, I started it because I was in a rut by just buying games and not finishing them.
Yeah,
So like a lot of the games on my list are games I've already started but just haven't finished. Like Octopath Traveler, I have a lot of hours in that, but I just never finished it. So
Sally, you beat that, right?
Yeah, the first one. I
Yeah.
didn't play the second one yet.
I heard the second one's really, really good.
That's a good idea. I just pulled up my list of A to Z games. And, it's a good motivation to get through the backlog.
Yeah. Toast, did you bring something to share?
I did. So I've been spending way too much money on Gaia lately. And I already showed this in the Discord, but this is a Dragon Quest like 1986 animation cell from one of the old cartoons that was only in Japan. It's one of like the main characters,
That's
like
so cool.
a main support character, maybe, if you would. But I just thought it was really cool. It was like $8 or something ridiculous, and like, hey, I can't not buy that.
That's crazy good for an animation cell.
That's
Those things
awesome.
get nutty expensive.
That's so cool. I didn't bring anything. I've been like, I woke up in Montreal with Sally and drove all day. Came back to set this up, and I totally forgot to bring something.
Try the
One.
pizza again.
Oh yeah, I have a Canadian pizza right here that with broccoli on it for some reason.
You smuggled that across the border,
I
didn't you?
I know. What the heck?
I hope they're not watching. I smuggle so much across the border.
Is that
So
broccoli
much
a
gaming stuff.
produce? Did you bring up
I
produce?
oh yeah. No, I think as long as it's not planted. Actually I have no idea. I'm on a first name basis with both Canadian and U.S. Border Patrol. One thing I did buy that came in recently is the OLED screen for the Game Boy Color, and so I have a clear shell and some black buttons. I'm gonna put all this like I did with this guy. This is the IPS screen, and I'm gonna put the new OLED screen in because apparently that one's way cooler because it's OLED. It's AMOLED. And other than that, Sally got me this awesome Tynology sign that I recently hung and a 3D printer. And so I've been printing stuff left and right. Controller holders, wall hangers. Oh, Sally, I need to put those up for you too. I've been printing all sorts of stuff. And so been having a lot of fun with that. Those are all my show offs. Okay, tonight's topic was, the Wii U, the 3DS. They shut down their online servers. It's unfortunate, and I wanted to discuss game preservation, and because I saw there was some controversy about how if you have DLC for Super Smash Brothers on the 3DS, you can't re-download that anymore because it does a server check before it tries to download, so it errors. And there's some other, I think Monster Hunter also does the same thing, and then I know there's a video, a YouTube video about don't kill our game, or man, I forgot
Stop
what it
killing
was.
video games.
StopKillingGames.com. Yeah, because the crew, even if you bought it physically, you put it in your Xbox or whatever, and it says sorry, we shut down servers. And so I wanted to get everyone's takes on how you feel about all this, because I have some strong feelings, and what you think that we should do about it, what you think the industry should do about it, and how to move forward with this. And so I'm opening the floor up. Whoever wants to say anything, you can get angry, you can not care. I don't care.
It sucks. It just sucks. It's just I don't know if there's anyone that can say anything. I'd be interested actually if anyone said anything positive about that situation about game preservation. It's just
I
think it's a
love
little
when they
silly.
kill it.
Yeah, it just sucks. And I'm part of that camp with the 3DS with Super Smash Brothers in terms of I wouldn't be able to re-download it. And I mean, sure, I have I have Ultimate, so I have no reason to go back to Smash 3DS, right?
Yeah.
But let's say I ever want to, for whatever reason, I want to go back. I picked up a new 3DS because I didn't want my old 3DS. I picked it up for really cheap from a friend of mine who opened it once and used it. And when I booted it up, I forgot to download the DLC for Smash Brothers. So if I want to play Smash 3DS but randomly, and I want to play as Cloud, I would have to theoretically go to the eShop to try and re-download it, but it would have to do a server check. Servers don't exist anymore. I can't play as Cloud. So
Yeah.
It hasn't, I guess, affected me already, but if I want to, I can't. I can't if I ever want to, and it just sucks.
Yeah. So there, even for, besides just like games. I know you buy a game, you're actually buying a license. Even if you're buying the physical game, you're still buying a license to play that game until the owner of that license decides you can't anymore. And so that's how they get around all this stuff, and why people are so adamant about it changing. But before, you know, they figured out how to connect to servers to authenticate and stuff like that. That's why physical media, like you buy the game, you physically hold it, and there's no one that can take that away. But they're figuring out ways to circumvent that. Over the last 10 years. The other thing is I took issue with the new PS5 Slims, where you can hot swap the disk drive, because say you take one off one PS5, you put it on another one, say one goes out and you put a new one on, it will not work unless it phones home to Sony and Sony says, okay, all's good, and now it works. I made a joke on Twitter about like, oh, imagine I was replacing the GD-ROM drive that always fails on a Dreamcast, and it had to dial into SegaNet, and it would just it and some people
So you're
didn't
saying,
get the
like,
joke.
theoretically, like, if servers went down,
Yeah. So what if
PS5,
what
like
if
your
you have
disk drive would just like be a
say
doorstop?
so say unless they implement a fix where it doesn't have to do that, but they don't have to, and so there's a lot of
For the Slim, right?
yeah, the Slim you can
Yeah.
hot swap the disk drive. So
Yeah.
but I think
I didn't
even
realize that. That's
yeah.
good to know, because I will never be getting a Slim now because that's stupid.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah.
if it goes out anyway, but yeah, because they're modular, it wants to check back in with Sony for some reason. But I assume if they're going to take those servers down, they would push out a fix. But that's the big push, is like games like The Crew. That's been the boiling point with this, because it's Ubisoft and they're based in France, which has strong consumer protection laws. That they're like, okay, this could be the example of a game that you bought that they're just like, no one can play anymore. They just shut it all down, even if you have the physical game, where it checks and it blocks it, and even it can do hardware wise with Sony. They're pushing, like, if they're going to end service, either hand over all the tools to allow the community to take over, or uh, at least not require that anymore, so that it doesn't completely just destroy that product moving forward. So
Yeah, that's insane.
It
It's
is.
insane that they even like thought that was a Jim Ryan decision. I bet you.
Yeah, like I'd be interested to know what like the real reason was. Like, were they expecting people to like mass produce knockoff?
I'm guessing that's what it was. That's what it is. Yeah,
That's the only thing you can think of. Like, why else would they do it?
it's a piracy thing, for sure.
So Sony's always like that. They don't like other companies making third party hardware. That's why you don't see. That's why you see Power make Xbox and Switch controllers.
That's one of the first thing they attacked was the third party plates. You remember the D brand ones?
Yeah.
That was like one of the
Mhm.
first big lawsuits out of like the PS5 era. Was they were like, don't make fake plates.
Yep. You don't see any third party DualSenses.
Yeah,
It's just
all of them. They have to buy them retail, and then that's why they're so expensive. And then break them down and put them back together, like the scuff ones and stuff. That's why they're so, because they don't have the license. But even Xbox, they're doing the same thing, where they're shutting down all wireless or third party controllers. I don't know if they've reversed that. I remember it was a big deal a few months ago.
I from what I know, that's still fine. We're still getting consistent. Well, if they are, it's too late for this generation. It would have to be a next generation thing, because the controllers for the Xbox controllers for this generation, they've already made the third party ones, and we're still getting them in stock. So
yeah,
so it would have to be a next generation.
Because even the third party Xbox controllers, I think they have to use dongles, right? They use
they do. They do have to be wired.
Or there are some that can like operate like RF, like
Yeah.
they can't use the native wireless because Xbox doesn't license that out.
Yeah, Nintendo's the only one that where PowerA can do it wirelessly for the console.
It's funny how Nintendo is the most
I feel like they've
friendly,
swapped.
yeah, like
Isn't that
Nintendo's like
insane?
anyone make controllers, let's go, like
Yeah.
and you know, Xbox and PlayStation, they're like, no, we're locking this down.
Like I feel
It's
like they were
very
so
opposite.
Nintendo like discouraged it. Like the ones for like the GameCube era, like third party controllers were like garbage. Third party Wii controllers were not great. I think Wii U they were like a little better, but that's
Yeah.
just I'm biased. There was a controller I liked that was third party on the Wii U. But like, yeah, like this generation, I feel like Nintendo is like, yeah, I don't care. Like just slap a little Nintendo guy on there and release it.
I wonder what the profit margin in that is, because I sell 10 PowerA Pro controllers for the Switch, and I'll sell one like actual Nintendo Switch Pro controller of those 10.
Yeah,
Like, so
I mean, I
wonder,
think they got to be Nintendo's got to be, they probably did the analysis of like, we sell our stuff at this price, and then they probably charge huge licensing fees for
Yeah.
third party, and those third party are like, okay, it's worth it even at that small margin, and
But I
Nintendo
think it's
just
smart just because of how expensive controllers are now. Like if you're a kid and you got like a secondhand Switch and you want to go get like a controller at GameStop, like it's like $80 I think for a new Switch controller, whereas like a
yeah.
PowerA you can probably get them for like $20 usually, or maybe even less
Yeah.
on sale.
If it's wired, it's around 17 to 25. The wireless ones, the cheapest I've seen them is 35.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like a way more
But I mean,
budget-friendly option. And they're like pretty solid controllers.
I have a 5 and 9-year-old, and they just destroy controllers. So I bought them 2 really cheap Switch controllers on like AliExpress or something. They're like pretty high quality, and they're like built like tanks. I was shocked, and I think they were $15 a piece. And I was like, here, because they kept wanting to take my nice controllers, like I was like, no, you get your own controllers, because they don't care. The thumbstick can be missing, and they're like, well, I'll go for it. And so I'm like, here's a junky controller, and they've held up way better than I ever expected. And so I don't know, it makes me really struggle. I have so many dual sense. All of these have stick drift.
Oof.
And I'm spending hundreds of dollars on these, and these $12 knockoff Switch controllers are handling a 5-year-old, throwing it around.
To tie into this whole like I guess preservation topic in the industry as a whole, I feel like this has been the generation of like the least that it feels like the most like almost aggressive towards the consumer. Like they're like, we want you to like buy everything first party. Like at least in the case of like Sony's just like fallen downhill, and like with Xbox pushing like exclusive like digital everything, it just feels like they don't want you to own your games. They want you to buy a bunch of like first party controllers. The controllers feel like they don't last as long, whether it be battery life, whether it be them drifting, whether it be just having a lot of problems with them, and then they don't want you to take them anywhere to repair them. They want you to like send them in. It just feels like this is like one of the least consumer friendly generations of gaming, and I feel like in terms of preservation, like that's also happening. We're seeing a lot of delisting of games. We're seeing license checks. We're seeing games that are exclusively online being completely removed and wiped from existence. And people will say like, "Hey, I want to put up like a private server for this," and then companies will send them a lawsuit, even though they're not doing anything with the property, and they probably will continue not to do anything with the property.
Just sitting on it. I agree. I agree entirely. Sally, I know you were all physical games for a long time, but you like now buy everything digitally.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just a convenience thing? Is it a do you have a
Yeah, convenience and the space that it takes up,
Oh, sure.
the plastic it consumes.
Oh, yeah.
It just, I mean, obviously it's wonderful to have physical games, but the benefits of digital just, you know,
I
And I
I
will,
way.
I
I will
fe-
say, in case of this generation, like if you're gonna go digital at all, like this is the generation that makes sense to do it. Since at this point, having the physical disc or even cartridge for something for certain games, it means nothing. Like it is just kind of a waste of the plastic that it is printed on and like packaged in
it's
at the factory.
especially games like for disc-based games right now that where you put the disc in and it downloads it, from a
Yeah.
server. You're like, all it is just like it's a digital game that you have to stick the disc in just to make sure that you still own it, type of
Mhm.
thing.
Star Wars Outlaws is the newest one.
Yeah,
my gosh.
I'm like, why did I buy all these PS5 games that they're all just like they downloaded, because you don't play them off the disc anymore. It's
I bought The Last of Us 2. Huge Last of Us fan. I bought the collector's edition. I was so excited. I pop it in, and all of the new features have to install. The no return mode had to install, and I was like, "What? Why did you even bother making a PS5 disc for this?" I was like, if the contents of the new contents, why am I waiting for an install of the new contents of the game?
uh,
Like that was the
yeah,
whole
and
selling purpose of remastering the second game, was to have this like roguelike mode. And I have to install that, and I had to install all the costumes, and I had to install the documentary. I was like, this is so stupid.
and
This is just the same game.
go ahead.
Oh, if my assumption is correct, it's because it's not a new game. It's just an update to the
Yeah,
existing
yeah,
game.
Exactly. But I'm just like,
So
come on, like Sony, come
yeah,
slap me in the face like while I'm
they
sitting
could
here.
have put it. They could have put it in. They could have updated the disc, but I think they just gave. I think they just put
No,
the
that's what it
existing.
feels like. I feel like they just probably pressed it, exact same disc, and they're like, hey, you have sucker written on your forehead, and I'm like, well, I sure do. I do like The Last of Us, and they're just like, psh, here you
At
go.
least buy
Have
me
fun waiting
dinner, or at least
2 hours.
buy me dinner first.
I know,
The
ridiculous.
and I just forgot my what I was gonna say. Oh, I keep going back to the Dreamcast because I know it's hard to imagine right now where we're like, oh, I mean, yeah, it just connects to servers, sir. It's like this is how life is. But I remember being, you know, 17, 18, 19, and connect, plugging my phone line into my Dreamcast, plugging my phone line into my computer, and be like, I will always be able to play these games online. I would play Rainbow Six One. I would on MSN Gaming Zone, and all this stuff. I was like, this will never go away. And then it was like 5 years later, it's like everything else is all gone. And so I know technology isn't changing as rapidly as it was back then, but I feel like it's it's not always gonna be there.
What do you mean it's all gone? You can't play these games anymore?
The only reason you can't play them online anymore. I mean, you can through hacks and stuff, but if I wanted to play Unreal Tournament on my Dreamcast with someone if I go into those modes, they're broken. Everything's broken. It's just like if you go and try to play Mario Maker 1 on your Wii U now, the game is
Yeah.
is about 5% of, I mean, probably 0.1% of what it was when it released, because
But who, I mean, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. When have I popped in Mario Maker?
Yeah,
When have
I
I
know.
popped in a Wii U game?
I want to.
But
Can we use a different example for Wii U? Because I think a really good example is actually Xenoblade Chronicles X.
because
Not for me.
that never came that never came to Switch, right?
No, it's not on Switch, but also the online mode was a big draw because it had raids, like almost like Destiny style raids, if I
Yeah.
recall correctly. But you could go online and actually play with people and level up, and there were like elements of story and stuff you could unlock. Because I guess like I kind of agree with Sally. Like if you have Mario Maker, you're interested in Mario Maker, you probably already have Mario Maker 2. So there's been like a substitute created for that. With Smash, there's a substitute created for that. Mario Kart, Splatoon, like, yeah, Splatoon 1's a little different, but how it's not drastically different from 2 and 3. There's still substitutes for that.
Sure.
With something like Xenoblade, we don't know when the game doesn't exist on Switch, but I feel like in instances like that, that's where like there's a true loss to be had, and that's where like I agree with your point earlier that if these companies aren't really going to do anything with the properties, I feel like they shouldn't take legal actions against people who just create private servers to go and play those, because that is part of the experience, or maybe
Yeah.
like the Monster Hunter experience.
And
Part of that is playing online.
yeah, and like I know, 99% of people who play these games, like I'd rather just go and play on PC for these old Dreamcast games that were cross-platform, but there's some that aren't like that. But there's enough of a community to where they built an entire infrastructure, just like they've already done for Wii U and 3DS. The Pretendo network I saw, I think it was Skake and Bacon Media, talked about it. They've rebuilt an entire online infrastructure to keep these platforms online, although not in the same state. Like all the Mario Maker 1 levels are gone, but they're rebuilding, and people are able to rebuild everything.
So I think that's
But yeah,
another thing. That's because one of the other things I think you brought up was like a topic is what we can do about it, and I think supporting projects like that is a good way for like what we can do about it as like a gaming community in order to keep these things alive. But also, just plugging the Video Game History Foundation is another really good thing where if you want to feel like proactive, the Video Game History Foundation sifts through ROMs and prototype carts and does seek to actually preserve, game manuals and game files and keep all of those ROMs and data at least somewhere. So, these companies
Yeah,
will
the
still have their
preservation.
rights to them, but they're preserving them so that way at least like one day there will be a feasibly like some sort of library where people can actually go and play the original versions of these games. I mean, companies will continue to remake stuff over and over and over again, which is fine. Like, make it for the new generation. If you want to profit off your same Pokemon game and you want to remake Pokemon Red and Blue 40 times, then go ahead and do that. But there should still be a way for people to experience it originally if they want to, especially since it's, a 20-plus-year-old game. People aren't always going to have access to cartridges. People aren't going to have access to original hardware. I think like emulation is a really important proponent. It just gets dicey when you talk with like legal piracy and all that
piracy
stuff.
is always
But
an issue, especially
I
for
would say like
modern games.
supporting the projects that are like keeping those things alive and the servers for that, not bringing I guess too much attention to them so that way like Nintendo doesn't go after them. But I just think I don't know. I think companies should just let that stuff go just because it's such like a small community of people who are dedicated to it. But if somebody like I mean I would like to try out Xenoblade X one day, like when I get around to playing it, and I think playing online would be really cool.
I didn't even realize.
You know,
What?
I can't. Well,
But you can't anymore unless you don't go on Pretendo.
Yeah, Pretendo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unless you
I
go
think
Pretendo.
that's the only. But that's gonna be a fraction of people because there's like it's difficult to set up,
I think you have to
but
hook it up to your PC and stuff. But
yeah,
at least
yeah.
it's like at least there's something like at the very minimum there's something.
But we haven't even seen the worst of this, and we're not gonna for a while. But like, imagine if we were in this position 25 years ago, and basically, think of it, we're in this position 25 years ago, and this was happening during the N64, PS1,
Yeah.
and now, right now, if the N64 was digital only, what would be, and those servers aren't up anymore, how am I going to play Super Mario 64? How am I
Yeah,
going to play
or if what if we stuck a cartridge into your N64 and it's like can't connect to, or no, I that's why I keep going to Dreamcast because Sega doesn't. They literally, like, if they could have made it be like, okay, when you put this disc in, let's call and dial up into the Sega Net servers. One great example is there was like the Sega Channel, it was like a subscription service for the Genesis. You had to subscribe to it, and there were games, and Nintendo had its own in Japan. There are games that were released on it that never came out physically, and they're gone.
They're gone.
You can never play them, and so stuff like that. If that's my biggest concern is these games that exist, and we can get into live service if we want, because like the games that are constantly updated, where like, oh, how can you play Fortnite from 2017 because it's a totally different game than it is in 2024. There's no way to capture that because it's an ongoing iteration, whereas back, you look at all the ROMs for NES games, and there's like revision 0, 0.1, revision 1, revision 2, like because they were updating it and they were literally printing new cartridges as they were updating the game. I don't know. It's a concern of mine for being able to play these games. I'm just thinking like when my kids are my age and they're like, oh, I want to play Switch games, but or Switch 2 games, as they're in their teens, and say those games don't work without calling into Nintendo, and Nintendo doesn't exist anymore, so how can it ever call in or something? God forbid.
I feel like the best solution is stop making online only games. It's not going to happen, but
at least have an exit strategy if you're gonna do that. If that's gonna be your angle.
Yeah, like Mario Wonder, I feel like did it perfect. Like there's an online aspect, but it will work without it.
Yeah.
That's like, in my opinion, that's like the way to go, but I know companies aren't going to do that.
I think it would definitely work for some stuff, like even like something like Overwatch where it's just small enough player pool. I think you could totally do just like a LAN mode where like you could get that number of people together with like either consoles or PCs connected and just have like a LAN party. I think some stuff would be really big. Fortnite would definitely be like a trickier one to do, but yeah, I think that may be like one solution, at least for games with like smaller player pools for online games that are multiplayer.
Are there any games that you guys wish you could play that you can't because of this?
I know at some point I'm gonna want to play Rocket League in the
future. Rocket League, yeah,
and it's not gonna exist.
It will not exist. Yeah.
Little Big Planet 2 online, 1 and 2 online.
Oh yeah.
Which it kind of exists through Little Big Planet 3, but Little Big Planet 3 is like universally accepted in the Little Big Planet community as like
the worst. Yeah,
it's the worst one.
Yeah.
The server service initially sucked, and then like I don't think they fixed it until it was kind of too late, and even then I think most people went back to either Vita or Little Big Planet 1 and 2. And I think Vita servers already shut down, so
yeah.
The original Command and Conquer had a spin-off called Soul Survivor, and it was basically like a battle royale, and you dialed up through modem, and each person got to pick like a single unit out of the game, and each unit obviously had its own strengths and weaknesses, and then whoever would be the last person standing would win. And yeah, that hasn't been remade and obviously doesn't work anymore, but I've just had the desire to play it. I'm terrible at it, but I just thought it'd be fun to play again. I just thought about it like a week ago because me and my brother played CNC Remastered online together. I was like, man, I remember that game. That was cool.
Yeah. I remember dialing up to play those old games. Like, okay, like that was the only multiplayer mode. It was like I don't even remember what the protocol was. What were you gonna say, Touchy?
I mean, this one's a pretty recent one. I never got into it. I played it like once or twice, but it always seemed cool to me to play a little bit more, and I can't anymore. That's the Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, that shut down.
I forgot that went down. Yeah, that wasn't up for very long either.
I still have that game sealed because
on Switch that game is you can't play it anymore.
You can play it on anything. They ran out of licensing, so they shut down the servers.
Beach Pizza Gaming owes me like.
I know. I still have it sealed because Aaron talked us all into buying it, and then we never played it.
Well, I hope you guys didn't get talked into buying Chainsaw Massacre, because that's probably also the same thing's gonna happen. It's the same team.
Didn't that come out? That came out like a year ago or a year and a half ago.
Yeah, well, it's not confirmed yet, but
It's gonna happen.
3 years max, maybe. The movie licensing is gonna run out. Not enough people are playing it anyway, so shut it down.
I'm surprised Friday the 13th lasted as long as it did, because it felt like a knockoff of Dead by Daylight, but worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it because you got to play as Jason, but I would rather play as Jason in Dead by Daylight.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Dead by. I played Dead by Daylight like 3 times. I feel like.
He's not in Dead by Daylight because he was exclusive to Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll come next year.
It also sucks though. There's instances of this in Dead by Daylight though, because I think the Stranger Things characters are now removed from the game.
Oh yeah.
You can still play as them if you have them though.
Yeah, but you can't buy them anymore.
Yeah, right. Licensing. Yeah, because even like no one's immune. What was it? Forza Horizon 3? Is that gone? Because of I think it's like car licensing.
Those Forza games you can get them physically. The discs still work, thankfully, but you can't re-download them. So, and I feel like
go ahead.
Well, it's not. It hasn't happened yet. It's still a long ways away, hopefully. But like, it just happened with the 3DS. What happens when Switch servers get shut down? What happens to the booster course pass for Mario Kart or the Smash Founders?
Did they ever? They released a physical Mario Kart, right, with everything.
In Japan?
Only in
but
Japan.
I think it was code, wasn't it? Itachi?
No,
or does it have it on it?
It has it, but it only has up to wave 5.
Oh yeah, there's one missing.
They didn't wait. They didn't wait for wave 6 to come out. So
impatient.
So close.
I wouldn't be surprised. Nintendo would.
So
see, I feel like there's another aspect to talk about, and that's like the re-releasing and like remastering and stuff, because I feel like Nintendo does a really good job, or at least a pretty good job, of going back and re-releasing things on newer consoles too. So there's kind of less of a worry there about things just disappearing forever. To me, at least. But it sounds like Xbox and PlayStation are starting to at least pretend to care about backwards compatibility and preserving games. So, but
don't worry,
that's just a kind of notice.
Everything from PS4 is definitely very preserved on PS5. They've made sure they have re-released every big PS4 release remastered on PS5.
I feel like there's like 5 PS5 exclusive games.
Oh, there's not. There's barely any.
Let me go look.
This whole generation.
I could probably count them.
This generation with Xbox and PlayStation has been kind of crazy, and we're already talking about the next generation. It's like how there was, I think it's like less than 50 exclusive games in the last 4 years between both of them.
And a bunch of Microsoft.
And 2 of them just two PlayStation exclusives just dropped recently, which was like kind of insane. Or 2, I think Way of Ronin dropped, and then Stellar Blade is coming out. But I don't.
Is that PS5 exclusive?
They're PS5 exclusives, but I don't know if they're first party or third party. Like I don't know if it's a timed exclusive type thing.
They're not first party.
So they're probably timed exclusive, just like Final Fantasy.
So we got Spider-Man 2, which is probably gonna go on PC. It probably will go on PC eventually. Final Fantasy 16, which is going to PC, that's confirmed. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, which will probably also go to PC.
Yeah.
Demon's Souls, which hasn't gone to PC yet.
It's rumored, isn't it?
But it's rumored.
Mm-hmm.
Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin. That's 6 that I was able to count.
And Rise of the Ronin and Stellar Blade being third party lead me to believe that they will possibly go to PC or other platforms like in the future.
I wasn't off.
No, you weren't. You weren't. I had 4.
I
had 4
I
until Brittany
overestimated.
mentioned the other 2.
Tell me why I should buy a PS5? Like,
I can't. I use my PS4 more because it's in my game room. And all I want to play is
I don't
PS4 games anyways.
I don't understand why. I mean, I get that people like the newest thing, but why am I spending $500 or whatever on something that plays almost entirely all last gen games?
Yeah.
When I already have a PS4 too.
Well, yeah, no, there's no need to. I got it because of the performance, and even they can't figure that out sometimes. So,
I got it because a
it
friend was
sucks.
like, "Oh, can you buy this off of me because I want to get PC parts?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, buddy, I'll help you out." And then I did it, and then I'm like, "Great." And he's like, "How are you liking the PS5 so far?" I'm like, "It's collecting dust." And he goes, "Ah, I see. It's like taking its like rightful place because I guess that's what it was doing in his house too."
I like my PS5, but I'm not like everything I'm playing on it. Like I could just play on my PS4. Like
I
that
got
was gonna happen 3 years. The PS.
I got mine because of Aaron.
Fair.
Does he owe you another $500?
No,
I feel
no.
like I feel like Aaron is just he owes us all just a bunch of money.
No, he gave me
Does he work for Jim Ryan?
he gave me a deal. He
Okay.
actually it was I got it like day one because he hooked me up.
Put that
Nice.
man on the game station.
I didn't have a
All right,
PS4
I'm gonna tell
too.
you why you guys should all buy this.
So I was
game.
buying PS4 games because I didn't have a PS4, so I was like, oh, might as well buy a PS5. And
I
it
feel
was
like
Aaron.
that's like useful. That's
But I
useful.
don't. But
You
I don't.
didn't have a PS4.
I don't play it. I haven't turned it on, and I turned it on for the first time in probably 9 months.
Also, it has no
Last week.
themes. No themes. No themes on PS5. It's the worst.
So kind of like the Switch. If I literally what you were saying earlier about PlayStation and Nintendo switching, like literally everything has switched. Like the 3DS had amazing themes.
I loved PlayStation with my whole heart, and I hate them now. I hate
Yeah.
them so much. Like they've
Like-
just done, they've done nothing. Like I'm sitting here like waiting for the exclusives, and there's no like big single player heavy hitter games coming out. They're canceling stuff left and right. They want you to buy all first party peripherals and everything. My controller dies after 5 hours of play, and then I gotta plug it back in and wait, you know. And meanwhile, then I go boot up my Switch, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can play this anywhere. I can go play this in the game room because there's a dock in there. I can play this on TV because there's a dock there. I can play this in my bed. I don't have to buy a $200 tablet to go play games in my bed. And it just, there's no themes on it. It just feels like even the interface, and this, I know this is like probably the most minor gripe in the world, but the interface just feels so like boring. It's just like so static and dull. And I mean, you could probably complain about that in all three, like Microsoft, Nintendo, and PlayStation for this gen, because none of them have like themes, or maybe Microsoft has themes, but the other two, they don't have themes. I'm like, why less customization? Why are we going this route of just like, we're going to take away a bunch of features, and we're going to take away your game license, and we're going to take away stuff, but we're going to keep pushing like all these new peripherals on you, and they're going to be all first party, and they won't work across with any of the other console platforms. And I don't know, it just sucks. Like my PS5 feels like a paperweight. Like it's just a paperweight sitting there. And I played The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 2. That's all I've played on my PS5, like to completion. And I played Katamari Damacy, which is a PS4 game.
PS2
Like
game.
Yeah, PS2.
Which is a PS2 game to a PS4 game.
Which is also on the Switch, so.
Which is also on the Switch. And the only reason I got a PS4 copy was because I couldn't find it on the Switch, because I would probably rather play it on the go, like if I had the option. It's just like, again, I die-hard PlayStation person. I bought the Vita like very close to launch. I bought the PS4 close to launch. My dad got the PS3 and the PS2 close to launch. I bought like every game I wanted on PS3 or PS4. Like I saved all my like birthday money, all my first job money, any money I got, or any gifts and stuff that I got was all PlayStation games. Like I got my 3DS and I got my my Wii U, and I saved for those too, but they did not capture my attention like PlayStation stuff is. I like when I say like a diehard PlayStation fan, and they have just like lost me like as a customer this generation because of like just I feel like it's just like lack of respect towards their audience. They're just like, you guys are just pure consumers. We don't care about your making games anymore. We don't care about making. They killed Japan Studio. They killed a bunch of their smaller development teams because they're not pumping out Last of Us clones or Uncharted clones. And I love Last of Us, one of my favorite games ever, but it's not exclusively what I want to play. And when there's dry spells in games like this is when Fat Princess would have came in handy. This is when Little Big Planet would have came in handy. This is when Journey would have came in handy. Katamari, all of these littler games that were so fun to just pick up and play and have a good time with versus some dense AAA stuff where I've got to do 100 billion things and I've got to pay for some DLC and I got to pay for a battle pass and I've got to do all this other stuff. Those little games are fun and there's a scene for them now. It's all on the Switch. Everything is on the Switch. It's and like it feels like Sony has just like completely pushed that aspect out in favor of getting bigger and better. And while big and better is really cool, it's really great. When it doesn't pan out, it's just a huge financial loss for them. And then they're like, okay, well, we're just gonna not do it anymore. We're just gonna create like less and less and less and try to push you guys to buy more and more and more while providing less, taking away game licenses, delisting stuff because we don't want to pay for it, taking games offline because we don't want to pay for it, cutting entire services like the Last of Us Online game out because we don't want to pay for it. We, whatever, like we're just gonna like lay people off and just keep cutting services, cutting, and no like giving back. There's no. It just feels like it feels more like taking than like they're giving services. Whereas Nintendo is like on the right track. Initially I was really on the fence about their online service, but they keep giving Super Nintendo games. They keep giving GBA releases. They keep giving new ways to play their older games. They're re-releasing Paper Mario on GameCube, which, I wanted to get, but it was $120. I didn't want to spend $120 on it. Now they're going to re-release it for like 50 or $60. That's great. Or Metroid Prime Remaster. That was completely out of left field, and I feel like a ton of people got into the franchise now and really liked that game, and like they're just doing all of these things right, and then PlayStation is just doing everything wrong.
Skrill,
this
what
generation.
I just want to know how you really feel though.
PlayStation, this
All right,
generation,
all right.
no good.
That's saying a lot though, coming from
Yeah,
someone like
yeah.
Skrill
It's
that has,
it's a 180.
deep-seated interest in PlayStation,
Yeah.
just ragging on it. And there's good reason for it too.
Okay, let's
You know?
let's do final thoughts and then we're gonna wrap this up. I promised everyone 1 hour and we're at just over 1 hour. But last closing thoughts on this topic. Skrill, I count that as yours.
That sounds good.
Wow. I want to say kind of what was said in the Stop Killing Games video. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people debate that video games are art, but they undeniably contain art, and I think that was really powerful because that's exactly how I feel. Like, I will buy a game just because it has awesome cover art. I mean, that's how materialistic and not materialistic vain I am, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right word either, but like, I think there's so much cool art in video games, even if it's not the actual game itself, like promotion materials and box art and vinyl, all that stuff I think is really cool. And people humans put work and effort and their blood and sweat into those things to make them cool. I mean, those things, at least not yet, don't happen automatically. So I think there's definitely value to them. And I feel like in the future, I'm going to want to share some of that with my daughter, especially who isn't young enough or isn't old enough right now to appreciate those kinds of things. But like, I feel like it'll be nice to have those things physically because then I can appreciate and share those things.
Yeah. I totally agree. Anyone else?
They can say it as much as they want, but Microsoft and Sony don't really care about game preservation. They don't care. I don't know if you guys have noticed. When Sony launched their online service doing the NSO thing where you get PS1, PS2, PS3 to stream, and PSP games. They've done a few of each, except PS2. If you noticed, every PS2 game that they've done has been the PS4 version.
Yeah.
The PS4 remastered. They haven't done any PS2 games. There's no actual PS2 games on there that you can get. It's all like Medieval. No, is that
Remakes.
PS1? Is that PS1 or is
PS1.
Medieval PS1 or
PS1.
It's PS1, but
Okay.
it got a remaster too.
Yeah, there's a few PS2 games that they'll just give you the PS4 version.
Yeah.
Was there a PS4 version of Fantavision? Because I know that's on the PSN thing, but I don't remember there being a remaster of that one.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. It might have been I forget what you call them, but it's where you can buy it like a la carte. You can buy it like Jack and Daxter. You can buy like the PS4 version of it by itself. So maybe they did like a soft remaster of it.
It's if you go to PlayStation Store, it says PS4 version. At least that's what I'm seeing. Originally released on the PS2 with up rendering and trophies. Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Here you go. It says this title has been converted from the PS2 version to the PS4 version.
Hey, they added trophies.
Hey, that's enough to get some people to play.
All right, Sally, close us out.
No comment.
You have no comment?
Sorry.
I thought you were building up some giant some sledgehammer argument. We'll save the hidden our hidden party tricks for the next episode.
Party tricks.
So we're streaming here on Tynology Gaming on the YouTube, on Twitch, but there is a Pixel Perfect podcast YouTube channel. Be sure to go subscribe there if you're watching this. If you're watching live, stick around because we'll raid out if I remember how to do that because it's been like a year. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Does anyone want to promote anything? Is anyone streaming? Skrill, I know you're getting back into streaming. Skriller Wolf on Twitch. Does anyone else want to promote anything that you're working on?
I'd like to promote game preservation. No.
Game preservation.
Russ,
go check out the Game History.
Video Game
Foundation.
History Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it there. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of the comeback for the Pixel Perfect podcast. With that, we will end. Stick around if you're live. If not, be sure to subscribe. We're out of here. If I can figure out how to do it, and we'll raid out. But bye, guys. Thank you. Have a good night. Adios.